We are averaging over 41,000 live listeners, and we've been at this for 7 solid years. I appreciate all of you guys who have been rocking with the kid on this journey, and we are still evolving, baby. It is all because of you, most definitely. We are the people who have dedicated their lives to music, spirituality, business, literature, education, news, art, films, and research in every aspect. And we want to allow you an opportunity to tell your story. And as always, all episodes are available for free download. You can grab it from either Spreaker.com/only one media group, iHeart Radio, Spotify, iTunes, Castbox, Player FM, YouTube, or any app from the Google Play or iTunes Store, or over at our website. I've conducted over 1,000 interviews and counting.
Yo, guys, what is up again, and welcome to another awesome episode of Vigilantes Radio Live right here on iHeart Radio. And I'm your host, Denny. We have another special guest for you guys, ready to bring in the new year with awesome music. That's perfect, right? Because we need awesome music. All right, with that, let's go ahead and welcome our next special guest of the show. He goes by the name of Sterlen. Yo, welcome to VRL. How are you?
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Oh, man, most definitely, man. I'm excited that you are here with us. How's it going?
It's going good, man. Blessed.
Awesome. So, man, the incredible Sterlen is here with us, multi-talented producer and artist. My question...
I like that little head, that little incredible you gave me. I appreciate that.
For sure, man, for sure. Man, my first question to you is, which one came first, producing or being an artist?
An artist came first. I just had a long journey, since high school. I think, I started freestyling, a long time ago. That was in, Souls of Mischief. I'm from the Bay Area, so, hieroglyphics, Souls of Mischief. We were beating out Too Short, freestyling in the days of freestyling and all those kind of things. So I started off in high school. I think I made that switch, because I was a basketball player. I think my junior year, my senior year, I had a choice of playing varsity basketball or just like really pursuing my music. But I went ahead and pursued my music. I was on 94.9, which is a popular Bay Area station. My first song on the radio, I remember it was after Tupac's Toss 'Em Up. When Tupac came out. That was my first time in high school on the radio. Just being coming out of high school, being on the radio. So that's what kind of defined me in being an artist. I was an artist, and I used to pay for music. I used to actually pay for beats back then, because I actually grew up in the church musician, and I could play, but I would pay for music because I didn't know how to program until someone taught me and said, "You're a musician. Why are you going to program? Why are you going to pay for music when you can play and you can program on your own?" And that's how that transitioned from an artist to a producer. So,
wow.
Yeah. So I got a lot, So if you ask me a question, just stop me when you.
Oh, you're good, man.
So that's pretty much how that transitioned, and just really been through a lot. So with going back and forth, I can keep going if you want me to.
No, man, go ahead. Yeah, share your story, man. This is for you, brother.
Yeah, it's funny because even being an artist in the Bay Area, I had a run-in with the guy who was doing my music. Worked for a producer by the name of Narada Michael Walton, and he was at Tarpan Studios. He was producer. He produced Whitney Houston's "I Want to Dance with You" album, Mariah Carey's "I Don't Want to Cry," all those pop songs. He was doing Tevin Campbell. He was doing all that stuff in the Bay Area. And back then, you know, walking into Tarpan Studios, you know, he saw me. I was a really young kid, and you know, I rapped for him. Told him I could produce, but you know, he was a big producer. He wasn't trying to hear it. He was like, no, let me hear you rap again. So I started rapping for him, and he immediately grasped onto me and was like, I think that I was in the office rapping for him. He had a little office off into the corner where he would bring his keyboard and he would work with artists just like live. So I would be freestyling while he's playing his little drum beat and playing the keys, just literally writing songs. And he was so excited, I swear he picked up the phone and called Quincy Jones and was like, I got in the kit. I got in the kit. I see all kinds of things. I see him coming out the helicopters, and I see all kinds of things. And he was literally on the phone with Quincy Jones with me in the room. And I'm telling you, you know, just growing up in the music household. Father was a Grammy-nominated gospel songwriter.
Wow.
So I picked up playing piano, growing up in church, traveling with my dad, you know, watching him. You know, I was a huge fan of Quincy Jones.
Yeah.
So just on the musician side of it, rapping is one thing, you know, but the musician side of it, you know, it was a huge thing. Now nothing became of that because Narada was kind of all over the place. He had a lot of things going on, but that was my first like experience with a real producer. So, and I think the song I produced, the song that he had me rap on, I had an 8-bar verse, and he had me in the studio for 10 hours.
Wow.
Doing an 8-bar verse. Can you imagine? If rappers was hearing this right now, rappers would be like, you got to be crazy. Yeah. 8 lines, 10 hours. 10 hours.
Yeah.
That was Narada Michael Walden. That was, you know, and I could rap. So it wasn't that I was whack. It was just, you know, it was just his style. It was just what he did, you know. Mm-hmm. So.
Absolutely, man. Wow, bro. That's huge, man.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's a lot, man. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So, yeah. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Keep going. I'm good.
All right. So, being the son of a Grammy-nominated gospel writer and producer, does that put any additional pressure on you?
No, we're in different worlds. You know, I just respect the fact that my parents, you know, I grew up in an apostolic Christian church, Pentecostal.
Okay.
And so people who went to church knew we were tearing. There was people running around the church.
Yeah.
We were trying to get the Holy Ghost. We were trying to get the Holy Ghost at 7 years old. Mm-hmm. We was, you know, in church while my friends was out enjoying themselves in high school. We was in church Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday night youth service, in church Sunday for 8 hours. That was, and church was in East Oakland, off of 83rd and Holly. And I was born and raised in Oakland. So, you know, I didn't realize how dangerous it was until now I kind of live somewhere else. And now when I go back to visit the church, I'm just kind of like, I mean, it ain't like I ain't street anymore, but I was like 7 years old, and you know, we heard gunshots outside the church, but then no one would mess with anyone coming in and out the church. It was funny. That church was, you know, anyone out there from the Bay Area, go to 83rd and Holly, All Nations Pentecostal Church, Elmo Roberts, and my name is Sterlen Roberts. That was my grandfather's hand-built church, right in the middle of East Oakland. And you know, my dad, you know, was taken in by the great artist James Cleveland, and just you know, he wrote a big song called Nobody But Jesus, and you know, just kind of growing up going around, traveling with him and doing that whole thing, I really got to see a lot. And you know what? I never really picked up on how much it meant to me. All the things I went through in church and growing up in church and hearing church music. And my dad is the minister of music over in Northern California, chapter choir in the Gospel Music Workshop of America. But all those times going to those workshops, listening to those songs, it had a great effect on my music now, than anything. And there's lots of gospel and rooted music. I have songs on my record that are regular R&B, commercial. Just as a producer, I've been told that I'm real dynamic. Mm-hmm. In the sense that, I'll do a street song. I'll do an R&B song. I can turn around and do, an 808, what everyone's doing now. I can actually play. I can actually do a ballad. But my roots are, I started, a long time ago, I started sampling gospel music. I started sampling my dad's songs. Well, let me tell you, if you're a producer, you know that you can't sample music without having to buy it. So what Kanye West and all them was doing, it costs money, right? Yeah. So he would sample a Michael Jackson song. He probably got $10 for it, even though it was a big hit, because the sample clearance costs so much money. So back in the day, I went and I decided that I would start sampling my father's music because I could get it clear. I would sample the songs that he recorded and with his choirs that he owned the publishing to. And what happened was I was able, or I would do maybe some of my dad's friends, because I knew my dad could reach out to them and maybe get the song clear. And I started doing gospel sample music, and I started doing it right around the time Kanye West did Through the Wire. At that time in my life, because I had lived in New York, I had traveled, I had, dealt with Universal Records, I had done a lot. But by that time, I was taken in by Jodeci's Devontae Swing. And he took me in as a producer. Now, he took me in as a producer over an artist. And then he took me in. Actually, he saw I had a music video that was on BET. He had a friend that was mutual friends of mine. And he said, and my mutual friend told him I had lost my record deal, basically, and I was on TV. My friend knew that. My friend told Devontae Swing that, my friend Rome, told Devontae Swing that, no, he's not signed. This guy's on TV right now. He's not signed. Devontae, I remember, I literally, the day I lost the week I lost my record deal, most depressing week. The deal fell through with Universal Records. A&R's moved out. I think Sylvia Rome had moved in, and we all got kind of wiped out. That day, my friend called me. And it was a Jesus moment, right? It was a Jesus moment because I didn't know what I was going to do in LA. I was pretty much didn't have anywhere to live. I could go back to my parents, but you don't want to go back as a failure, right? So I had moved out to LA. I didn't have anything. I had no way. And my friend called me literally when I was driving home, back home, being a failure, and lost my record deal. And let me tell you, I had an entourage in LA of like 30 people. When you are popping, you can make the moon turn red. Like literally. Like when you got everyone, when you're on TV, when you lose it, it's gone. Like people, you know what I'm saying? The connections you had, and it's weird to see that. The thing about me is I'm really strong. I really didn't need anyone around me, so I was fine. But literally, my friend called me when I was on the 405 out to the 5 to drive back to the Bay Area. And he told me, he said, dude, pull off the freeway. Devontae wants to meet you. I was like, Devontae who? There's one Devontae. Back then, and a lot of kids don't know Jodeci. now, but we did.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I'm like,
we did.
They're like Devontae Swing of Jodeci, and everyone knew that Devontae was Jodeci. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like, you're bleeping kidding me. I swung off the freeway, and I literally went into, Devontae had a compound. I literally went into that compound with nothing to lose. I played all my music. I freestyled for him. I played him. I told him I produced everything. I told him I was at my sharpest with him when I came in to like perform for him, right? And I didn't know what I was doing. We were just kind of sitting in his back office, just chopping it up. Really friendly guy, really knowledgeable. You know, and Devontae Swing was like, you know what? Come in and move in this compound. I want you to help me with the Jodeci album, the new Jodeci album. And I want you to help me with, I got a bunch of artists here. Unbeknownst to me, those artists here was Flow Rider. Those artists were Keisha Cole. She had some other artists, Youngin. He had Bar None. He had a few other artists. I said those names first because they're artists who have successfully, who the world knows now. But there was other artists there. And I ended up living and working with the Jodeci crew for about the next 3 or 4 years of my life. So, as a producer. But Devontae, when Devontae saw me, Devontae heard the church because Devontae was raised in church.
Yep.
And he always told me, he said, I will vouch for you that you were the first one to start sampling Christian gospel songs. So Jesus Walk, I was doing that a long time, you know, before that album came out.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Those kind of things. And I said, well, I'm not popping right now, so no one's ever going to know. And Devontae was like, well, when you get popping, we're going to make you popping. I'll co-sign you for that because that's unique. He was like, that's very unique about me. And you're a unique artist. You can't be in a group. And he always told me, he's like, you just need to be co-signed. He's like, because what you have, people may not accept unless you're co-signed. You get what I'm saying? You always need something to break you through. But, you know, sometimes people, you have to get co-signed for people to listen. You get what I'm saying? And he really encouraged me and brought out a lot of creativity. But shouts out to Rome, who's the guy who brought me there. Super Grammy-nominated producer who I've worked with now on my project. So we've stayed in contact. But that was years ago. And so that's what happened along those lines. So I got a lot to say. So
absolutely. Is this the same Rome that was once an R&B artist as well?
No, it wasn't that Rome. That was the singer Rome. This is a producer Rome. He was really close with Jodeci, and he's known throughout the industry. He kind of ran with Jodeci's basement crew. Gotcha. So Missy Elliott, Timberland, and all them. But not an artist, though.
Okay. Cool deal. All right, man. Wow, that's extensive, and quite the door opening to, a career. That sort. But we all know, man, how the industry works. When you're a part of a team, it could either go one way or the other. You never get your breakout moment, or you're behind the scenes for a very, very long time before you get your due justice. Like Carrie Hilson or Hilton.
Yeah, Carrie Hilson. Yeah. She was a writer for a long time. Yeah.
Writer for a long time.
Yeah.
So at what point did you break out the production team?
I've always been, I like to say, a one-man army in the studio. So I could go in and I really never needed anything or anyone. I had a production partner, which I still consider my partner, and he will forever be my life partner, named Peter Brown, who's kind of been through everything. And we had a production company for a long time. After Devontae's, I got signed to a record label called MTL Records, independent label, but backed by Dina LaPolt, who is just a really well-known attorney throughout LA. And so she had the pull of a lot of industry heads to make the label more of a major independent label. So between her and my CEO, Todd, I did MTL for, I think, to around 2008 to 2009, and we had a single called She Works. It was nationwide. It was worldwide single. You can definitely Google the song. It's the old me, I like to say. It was me a long time ago. The song wasn't necessarily, it was remixed by me. The song that was remixed by me but produced by a producer by the name of All Star. And, you know, that was just after, and mind you, this is after everything that had happened to me. I had already, think about this. Think about what I just told you. I told you Narada, right? When I was young, teenager, went to New York, dealt with Universal Records, Promising, had a music video on BET. After that, went to Devontae's, still nothing, still didn't have a song to hit, right? Went to Devontae's. I ended up leaving Devontae's. When I left, Flow Rider left. Keisha Cole had already had her deal, right? So Keisha Cole, but they didn't blow up until after we all left. So none of them were their names. They were just regular people. When we were all living there together, you know, and I had a really close relationship with Flow Rider. We stayed in the same room, like literally, there at the compound. But so even after all that, after that, I now came into the MTL world, which is, this was me. Flow Rider had got a deal. He got a deal with Atlantic. Keisha Cole with Interscope. I went with the independent label, MTL. And, you know, we had a song, She Works, and it almost took off. It didn't quite take off. It was very popular to bring a lot of DJs and get a lot of attention. I thought it was, at the time, releasing it, the club song. It was kind of like a club song. It's tough for me to listen to now because, you know, I always kind of felt, you know, something was pushing me, that my inner self. You get what I'm saying? I always kind of felt that I kind of have to be left alone and just leave me alone and let me do what I do in the studio. You know, and when you got a lot of pots in the kitchen, you got a lot of cooks in the kitchen, you know, goes left.
Yeah.
You know, stuff, it goes left real quick. When we had all the proper people. Everyone wrote on this record. Rico Love.
Wow.
You know, we had Luke James on the record. We had lots of people. I had an A&R assigned to me. I wasn't producing a lot of the record, but I did produce half of the record. But when I got signed with MTL, it moved so quick. It moved so quick. Like, I didn't even have a second to sit down and say, what am I going to create that's going to be a piece of work, a piece of art? You know, I never had that time. It was just kind of like, it was the prime example of what they used to do with artists a long time ago, right? Okay, we're going to give you a top producer. We're going to give you a producer. We're going to give you this. So here I are. My label had all the money in the world. They were buying music, right? But because I was a no-name, we were getting C beats. When ultimately, I was an A producer. I'm just being confident about myself right now. I was an A producer that could have gave myself A+ work, right?
Yeah, right.
And in the long run of things, and I don't want to quarterback and say what went wrong, but my label had enough money at that point. We could have just bought, you know, we could have bought a beat from Timberland and put Rihanna on the hook and just spent, you know, $500,000 on that and just let that be it. Not even do a record, but just to break me in. Yeah. If I would have known now, that's what I would have did. I, you know, instead of paying, you know, $12,000, $10,000, $20,000 here for C work, right? For artists to come in and write for me, all this kind of crazy stuff, right, that they were doing, you know, and it was just kind of like I found myself in the booth rapping other people's. It was just like crazy. stuff I had never done in my life.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No shade to the label. They were just trying to make me a star, right? But this is what artists are talking about. If I could quarterback the situation and redo it, I'm like, well, I'm trying not to cuss on your thing. Well, hell, you know, I'm like, well, shit. Well, if I would have known we were gonna spend all this money, we might as well have gave Timbaland $200,000 for a BB, put Rihanna on a hook for $100,000, paid the record label, paid Def Jam $100,000 to clear it, and put it out, right? And just put out one song that popped, and then if that song popped, follow up with an album. I mean, if you're just gonna make someone, right? If you're just gonna like develop someone and not, you know, which is kind of what I felt NTL tried to do for me. I don't think we did it right. You get what I'm saying? And I'm grateful to the label CEO Todd for doing everything he did. But when I look at it, I'm like, we could have invested all that money into one song, right? And they were expensive. That was back in the day where you were paying $100,000 per beat, right? Yeah. We could just put it all in one song, right? One popping artist, one popping producer, one popping Rihanna at the time was banging, get her on the hook, throw her on the hook, get my name out there, and then let me produce the rest of the record for free. You get what I'm saying? It's just kind of like, that's probably what we should have done, but we kind of took approach that we did a lot of other stuff. Like I was out on the radio, there's lots of stuff you can YouTube that I was doing. I was working with lots of producers, out on the radio doing all kinds of things, but my record I wasn't fulfilled because my record wasn't done. I didn't feel confident that this was me. Like I was putting myself out there, I was, the single Shorty in the Club, if you look at it like a dime, if it was the single when if people listen to it now, they'd be like, oh, I can see how that's a club song, but the song was getting played in Japan, in Tokyo. I got a huge royalty check for it, but it just didn't pop. It didn't blow. So I lost. So after that, the label, after spending that much money and the song not taking off, they had to call it quits.
Yeah.
Right? 2 years later, or 2 years later. And then I was done again in the dumps. After all that, and no shade to the label because they lost money too. So if I had a, time travel machine, I would have said, well, we probably spent about $500,000 on nothing. We could have just got Rihanna on the hook. And that song would still been playing now. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's, boom, done. If I was thinking like a label head. So that was a humbling moment. I have had so many humbling moments. So just really, really humbling moments. Just up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, man. Well, we're running out of time, but I want to go ahead and play the single. It's called Nobody by Sterling.
All right. Wonderful.
All right, guys, here it is. Check it out. Stay tuned.
Roberts, D-Church,
No, I got that new for you.
Hey,
I'ma
D.
bring the coupe out for you.
Listen.
All the YSL, that's for you.
Come on, tell them real quick,
That's for you.
Dress it up in all white, use my white willow. Use a fine silhouette, soft like pillow. Only woman I know with the tent windows. Boss bitch roll through, she ain't no kiddo. She know she gon' get her way. No, she gon' get me the stay. On the 50 script, it's an episode. I'ma play shit how I'm never home. Young nigga from the natty bout to whip it up. Ain't this real enough? Shaking back for me, baby, I got hella knees. Building strong with my girl, we be playing C's. Doing good and when we not, we be smoking the weeds. Two, that's a lot of green. And my save brighter days, living with the sheen.
It's clear as the skies. You light up my night when we make love. And it's all about you. And when things aren't right, I'll be by your side no matter what. I still got love for you. I get so lonely, but I don't want anybody but you. You got me going crazy, crazy. That's why I don't want anybody but you. I get so lonely, but I don't want anybody but you. You got me going crazy, crazy. That's why I don't want anybody but you.
New for you. I'ma bring the coupe out for you. All that YSL, that's for you. CC, that Chanel, that's for you. Baby, all I wanna do is make you feel better. Is make you feel better,
Girl, you know I got rid of all my side pieces. It's all about you, you the best there is. Girl, we Gucci, you the next to get it. Everything Louis, ain't nobody gon' hit it. I be on my shit though. We fight, I ain't about to switch though. Just might lock you up for life though. About time to change your life though. Every day we back to back. Every single day we back to that. Girlfriend know when she acting back, cause boyfriend go put a tap on that. Take it from the back and put a smack on that. Take a Snapchat, I'm smashing that. I'm all yours, so that's too damn bad. So Tom Ford with your trapping ass. Now gon' catwalk down that runway though. Kim Kardashian, Kanye pose. Jay-Z, Biggie, I love the dope. My trap house filled with all my hoes. Pedicure up, girl, we keep it on go. Everything you need, I got it for sure. Everything you dream, can't ask for more. And every time you see him, you can let them all know. Listen.
Clear as the skies, you light up my night when we make love, and it's all about you. And when things aren't right, I'll be by your side no matter what you do. I still got love for you. I get so lonely, but I don't want anybody but you. You got me going crazy.
That Chanel, that's for you. Baby, all I wanna do is make you feel better. Is make you feel better,
All right. We are back again. That was Nobody But by Sterling. Such an incredible record, man. Awesome record. All right, let's go ahead and bring him back on. Yo, dope song, bro. Dope song.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Before we let you go, man, let our listeners know where they can connect with you online.
So I just the same places as pretty much anyone. I have Twitter, Sterlen Roberts 1. Twitter. I have Facebook, Sterlen Roberts Facebook. Basically, you just type in my name and spell Sterlen Roberts. I have Instagrams. I have a few Instagram accounts, a few artist Facebooks, a website. That is probably the best place. It's really easy. It's SterlenRoberts.com. So it's just www.SterlenRoberts.com. That is the best place to keep up with all the latest from me. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, guys, just in case you need those links, we will have them in the description of this episode and in the show notes. So all you guys got to do is click the links, connect, and be prepared for this 2021 album that you're about to release, right?
Yes, sir. It's a really big collage of just a lot of good music. Yes.
Awesome. All right, Sterling. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing the album and checking out more work, man. I just wish you well. Happy New Year's if I don't talk to you before then.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you for having me on, man. Stay blessed.
All
Stay
right,
blessed.
take care, man.
Okay.
Thank you, my Vigilantes family, as always, for checking out my podcast over here at Vigilantes Radio Live. All episodes are available for free download, and you can grab it from either Spreaker.com/Only One Media Group, Spotify, Castbox, iHeart Radio, iTunes, YouTube, the app Podcast Addict, or over at our website, which again is onlyonemediagroup.com. And that goes for every single show that we've ever aired. If you like to request some music or send something for me to play, email it to vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. That is V as in Victor. And here's my disclaimer.